My Miracle. I'm John Jacob Mubarak, and this is Kendra. And we are here at Rythmia. It is Saturday at Rythmia, the end of the week. And we've been together for a week. And every week we come to you with this particular broadcast called I Got My Miracle, where we get to share a little bit about what's going on during the week. So as people are streaming in, I'll let you know a little bit about Rythmia. Rythmia is a life advancement center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And really, it is a place for individuals to come and become their most authentic self, to shed the things that are keeping them from being free, and to unbecome, to decondition all the things that we thought we had to be in order to get our needs met, and then become our most authentic self, that true self that we've always been. And we get to forgive and to heal in this process. So amazing things happen here every week. And a lot of people wonder what it's like. So we get to bring a guest on each week and share a little bit about what their experience was like. So let's start with that. Hi, Kendra. How are you?
Good.
Tell me, I want to bring this over here just so we can make sure that everybody hears us. So you were telling me earlier what brought you here and how you got here.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what was the preceding events that you ended up here.
I quit my job, and I say that it was not a rash decision. I had made the decision in October of last year that it was time for me to move on, and I really felt in my soul that I needed to end that to make space for something new. So I wasn't trying to rush into something else and jump without a safety net, which I've never done before. Just felt important to me to trust myself. So that was all transpiring at the beginning of March, because I was going to be in Costa Rica for a yoga retreat with some friends, and I had bought a one-way ticket not knowing what I was going to do after the yoga retreat. So I didn't plan to move to Costa Rica, nor do I still now, but even though it's lovely here. So the one-way ticket was not meant to be permanent. And when I did ask for guidance around what should I do after the retreat, my friends were going to the mountains, but I felt called to do something else. One weekend, just ayahuasca had come to me in a few different ways, serendipitously, and I had never had any intention or any desire to do ayahuasca, but I started doing some research. I didn't even know it was available in Costa Rica. And the final sign of that day when I had asked for guidance was finding out that it was available in Costa Rica. And then when I started doing my research, Rythmia was one of the first couple places I had looked at. And this week program was starting the day after my yoga retreat ended. So I kind of begrudgingly surrendered, but I get now why it all worked out that way.
And was there an intention that you had in coming?
No, my intention was to find out why I was called to come. It was fully just a curiosity of what am I supposed to get out of this? Because it was such a loud call that I felt the universe had a reason for that. So I was really curious to find out what that was.
Okay. So you got here. How was your check-in and your arrival? And what was your impression when you first got here?
It was easy. It's a beautiful place. Everyone is so kind. I was coming in a super zen place, having been in Costa Rica for a week and a half already and doing a week of yoga on the beach. So I coasted in, pretty zen, and it was pretty easy to just continue that, meeting my roommate and meeting the other individuals that were here this week as well.
Did you tell me about some of the people you met and like some of your favorite connections?
My roommate and I have a very strange human connection, just in that, like, we're, she's much older and we're from different, parts of the States and just have very different backgrounds, but yet we have a soul connection in some way that has just really worked out well. And being able to share and build off each other's experiences has helped, I don't want to say get through this week, because this wasn't a week to get through, but just help process some things that come up and further celebrate our wins as well.
So your roommate was a great connection for you,
yes.
Even though you ladies are so different.
Yes, yeah. And everyone else too. I know our group was a little bit smaller than most are, so I think we were able to have a level of connection, and I've heard the benefits of the bigger groups as well. But my flight, there's weather going back to the States. So I got an email saying I could cancel my flight. So I did that, and I'm going to go hang out with some other people that are staying in country for a few days. So that's always I always walk into situations like this, kind of focus on what I'm going to get out of it. And the best thing generally always turns out to be the human connections that happen that I don't always anticipate on the front end.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit else about what were your, like the amenities of the resort. What did you enjoy about the amenities of Rhythmia?
It's so nice to just have it's not a week of pampering. It is a week of work, but I think you guys have structured things nicely to help offset that. Food in itself, to just have healthy, delicious food waiting for you and not having to do anything to prepare it or plan for it. That's a huge gift to me. So that was just a nice luxury to have. But the spa, having just time to decompress, and when things have gotten hard throughout the program and the ceremonies, having a creature comforts that can help offset some of that discomfort is nice.
Okay. So, you came in without a clear, like, oh, I want to fix this, but you had just left your corporate job. So is there some sort of like, what's up for me in the future, kind of interest about what's next?
Yeah. It's a huge transition point in my life. I'm pretty much untethered in a lot of different ways. So I sensed guidance was going to come or is going to come. So that wasn't particularly my intention, but it has been on my mind that, or a feeling and knowing that this would point me in some direction to help me figure out my path when I get back home.
So you went into your first, were you scared going into ceremony?
Not the first one, because I did not know what to expect. The second one, I probably had a bit more trepidation just because I knew what to expect, and it was quite an experience.
Yeah. What did you see about yourself that, like, our first intention, show me who I've become? What did you see about yourself and show me who I've become?
So that was the first night for me. I got a lot of visions, and I saw a lot on the first night in regard to that intention. And it wasn't necessarily surprising. I think I was, in talking to some of the other individuals that were here, people are just blown away by, I had no idea, and I learned this, and it came out of nowhere. So for me, it was more in the subtleties. For me, it was, I've done a lot of self-work already, and have much of my life been painfully self-aware of what I see as my limitations and the areas I need to work on. And so that's what I was shown on Monday nights, throughout Monday night ceremony. I was pretty spot on in those, but what was different that I never had truly experienced, like, I have a lovely life and I am peaceful and content most days, but Monday really tapped into the joylessness of that. Because my visions on Monday started out very colorful. They were very childlike and just playful. And that evolved to like a message coming through saying, you're living a colorless life. Because things like got pretty black and white after that. And then I had some moments going back to childhood, but feeling the, like, kind of the still water.
Wait, what were the moments going back to childhood?
Well, when I got the download, whatever you want to call it, of you're living a joyless life, you're living a colorless life, it jumped back to this one specific memory in childhood that wasn't profound in any way. I think I just was able to tap into my inner child in that sense. But it then, I was then shown, and you had a colorless childhood. Like, I wasn't really able to.
But what was that? Tell me that one memory that you think is not significant.
Oh, I was in New Mexico on a family vacation, and I think it was my 5th or 6th birthday. And I remember like the little biker outfit that I wore, and I'm holding up a New Kids on the Block book that I had gotten as a gift. And again, nothing in that moment like felt super profound, but the feeling I got from it was just this needing to behave, needing to never be like the weird kid I always felt that I was, and just needing to be a certain way for my parents and for everything else, and just never being able to embody and grow into like having fun. It's always,
Okay, so this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing that is most interesting to me, right? Like it's because trauma isn't what happened. Trauma is the story that we tell ourselves about what happened. So I mean, I have a lot of clients that will be like, "Oh, that memory doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm working on," but it's exactly the memory. Like that was a moment, uh, and you kind of always remembered that moment.
Yeah, because I have a picture from it that my mom has at home. And I remember like I'm in this outfit, I'm holding up the New Kids on the Block book, and I have this small, sweet smile on my face. And like that just was never encompassing of the fullness of who I was. Like it just was this sweet little quiet girl. And that wasn't how I ever felt that I actually was, but how I felt I had to be.
Okay, this is super profound. I want you to know that was a super profound memory.
Okay.
Because you know what the split that happens is always a moment when the world asks us to be something other than who we are, and we capitulate.
Mm.
That's a profound moment in your life. And nothing, and it doesn't have to be like that's what people think. It's got to be I was abandoned or abused, or people like I had a really good childhood. I don't have anything to really like. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you just didn't get picked up on time, one time, or if you were abandoned or abused. It's the same thing, because in that moment we um, we separate from ourselves. We like, okay, who I am isn't going to get my needs met.
Yeah.
Isn't going to make me feel safe or belong. You said I thought I was this weird child. So it was a moment when you decided to capitulate.
Yeah.
To what you thought the world wanted you to be.
And I think, I know this is my tendency, but when we don't have huge traumas, it's easy for me at least to set that aside of like, what do I have to worry? Like I had a lovely family. I had such a good upbringing. And so just kind of setting some of those things aside, because you feel like I haven't gone through what others have. So I should be okay with where I am and what I have, because there's so much privilege in that. So that's always kind of been my setting aside of some of this of like, come on, kid, like you're okay.
True, right? It's
Yeah.
true. Like we are blessed, and you felt something.
Yeah.
And this is so often what we do, and it's exactly what you did. Now it's the same process. I think the power just clicked off and on.
Okay.
As I was like, is the thing going to end?
Energy is present.
Right? Yes. So this is so good. This is like so super profound, because, okay, just let me come back. That story that you also told yourself, like, come on, get over it. Like other people have it so much worse than I do. I should just be happy. I should just be.
It's a very Midwestern, like pick yourself up by the bootstraps sort of situation. So,
which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's a strength in that. Yeah. But the thing that you saw in ceremony was there was that moment, and it is true. Like we do have a beautiful life, and yes, we did live privileged and so many other blessings, and not to bypass what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. Like your feelings are important. That was the point, right? Because you were like, well, my feelings aren't important. How I'm feeling isn't important because it's not as bad as somebody else. Or and that 6th birthday or whatever it was, who I am, it's not important. It's more important that I am happy and present right, how I'm really feeling isn't important. That's the moment you divorced from your feelings. Yeah. It's the moment you separated from yourself. It's hugely profound.
Yeah.
And then, so did you merge back together with your soul?
It took a couple days. So Monday was heavy, and feeling the physical effects of things and experiencing what I did not know I was going to experience or what to expect. Like there was just a lot of discomfort in the physical and in the emotional. So going into Tuesday, I went in very heavy. Mm-hmm. And I thought I had seen everything I was going to see on Monday in terms of who I've become. And again, it wasn't surprising. Like, it hurt a little bit to be like, oh shit, my childhood wasn't as, rainbows and sunshine as I wanted it to be. But I was at peace with that, and it wasn't fully surprising. So Tuesday was beautiful. That what I know you guys joke about, like, you don't always get that. And like, that was my riding the kitten through the universe moment of just every minute of
You were
Tuesday.
riding a kitten through the universe?
Metaphorically.
Okay. Meow.
But it, like, every second of it was really beautiful. And I was shown or I felt a lot of different moments of things I had never felt before, of what true connection with the universe felt like, of what the balance between the masculine and the feminine and the need for that perfect, synchronicity to be. And I just had this feeling of connectedness that I had never had, and a feeling of balance and being one with nature, that all of these things that I think that we're probably supposed to feel, or we have the capacity to tap into to feel. That's been my biggest takeaway this week. Of I've lived in my head my whole life, and that's, served me very well. However, these feelings that I've not been able to feel or realize were there, just because my baseline has been okay. It's been peaceful and contentful, but feeling this deeper level of connection and just profound happiness was not what I was expecting.
And that's the merger, right? That's the soul merger, when you separate from yourself and kind of say, well, how I'm feeling isn't important. It's more important that I project out, this is how I'm going to get my needs met. And then the world becomes colorless. It becomes, joyless, because you're not being authentic to yourself. And then this connection that you experience, this like oneness, and the merging of the masculine and the feminine, of the shadow and the light, like all those parts of you, the fractured parts of you coming back together.
And something that felt nice to me as well, that another one of the instructors had talked with me with after the second day, was that it seemed like Tuesday was a continuance of being shown who I was. That yes, I've lived this joyous life, or this joyless life, which still sounds so dramatic to say, but the other pieces were in me as well. So that balance, that person who has done a lot of work, like, that existed as well. And this is what was available to me to continue. So it wasn't that was just totally new, but this beauty, this balance, all of this connection is also there for me to just continue. So I thought Monday was the end of that, but she had helped me realize that Tuesday was a continuance, and that felt nice.
And so it happened here, got to Costa Rica, one-way ticket, was at a yoga retreat, decided there were some signals calling you to do ayahuasca, found out it was available, picked this place. It was the first one you saw, but looked good. And what's your takeaway of the week? You said your takeaway was that oneness and unity, but is there something else that you're leaving with for direction in your life?
I mean, trust is always a big piece of what we think we know. We know control isn't the way to live our lives, but yet we just feel a certain safety in that. And especially as I'm being very open and trusting, I'm going to write the next chapter in the way that I'm meant to. Just having peace around, this was the right decision for all of, leading up to here and beyond, and walking out feeling that trust, not just like analytically thinking that trust.
Like feeling it.
Yeah.
Like feeling, and like trusting that your life wasn't like that, everything had to happen the way that it did for you to show up here and to have this realization for this next chapter of your life.
Yeah.
Which and to really embody it, not like intellectually know it, but to feel it.
Yes.
Which is super profound.
Yeah, I've never had an issue on the thinking side. I'm great at that. So just the knowing what true joy, true bliss, a fully colorful life feels like, now I can work to find that in my everyday.
That's amazing. Knowing what true bliss, what true joy, what a truly colorful life feels like. What a beautiful way to say it.
Boom.
Boom. Thank you. I'm dropping the mic on that one. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you all so much for joining us, and check with me out. Find out about what a true, joyful, blissful, colorful life is like. All right. Peace and blessings. We'll see you guys next week. Ciao.